Hi, everyone. This is Jackie Wright, and I am the host of Wright Enterprises Community Spotlight. And today we're going to talk to the cast and crew of A Stranger's Story about the memoirs of the patriarch of NOLA's royal family of music, the Batiste. From the glory days of David and the Gladiators in the 1960s to the international culture and trade work of Damon Batiste in South Africa and other countries of Africa, to Grammy and Oscar-winning talent John Batiste, formerly the music director of the late night show with Stephen Colbert. The Batistes have made a large cultural and musical footprint in New Orleans and beyond. And so I just want to welcome everyone that is a part of this story today, this A Stranger's Story. I can say that definitely we have a party in the house based on everybody that's here. So welcome, everyone.
Oh, hello.
Hello, thank you.
Greetings.
Thank you.
It's so great to be here.
Yes, indeed. And I'm just going to announce who we have, and individually people can chime in a little bit more. We have James Batiste, Alonzo Waller, we have Chris Ford, we have Emerald Khan, Dr. Sinitria Grace Williams, and we have Charles Bush. And believe it or not, the individual that is playing the devil may be joining us, Bill Haas, a little bit later. But thank you and welcome to Wright Enterprises Community Spotlight. And David, not David, I'm calling you by your brother. He was the one that, James, that told me about this film that was coming. As a matter of fact, I interviewed him for the San Francisco Black Film Festival. And I tried to get him to promise that the San Francisco Black Film Festival would be the first to have your screening of your film, but timing would not allow for that. So we are so pleased that we can talk to you about the film itself, and then we're going to talk a little bit about where you're going to be first. So first of all, let's start us off with the motivation, what the film is about. As I read, I saw it was a tension between faith and free will. Is there anything else you want to add to that before we get into the conversation a little bit deeper?
No, I think that hits it right, the nail on the head. But actually, first thing I would like to say is thank you, Lord, for waking me up this morning and making it possible for me to be with my family and my friends. Thank you very, very much. Hello, A Stranger's Story Nation. I'm James Batiste. I'm number 6 of 7 boys. The story was told to me and my family, and personally to the director, Alonzo, the screenwriter, Alonzo Waller, my buddy of 40 years. And so we were blessed with the opportunity to make it. But at the heart of it, for me anyway, is that tension between free will, free will, everyone has it, right?
Yes.
And the opportunity to do the right thing or not right thing. But more importantly, this story, this meeting today is about the wonderful folks that made it, that come to life. If I haven't told you personally, please, everyone on this call and everyone that was associated with this film, words cannot express how much I appreciate who you are and what you did. Absolutely.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you, you have really checked me very early on by saying, first, let me give thanks to God. So it's like, that is great. Give God the glory. Seek first the kingdom and all else is added unto you. So that was just a very wonderful demonstrative way of just underlying what this story is all about as you are examining doing right from wrong and the consequences of that in life. But as you said, this conversation today is with the cast and crew. And it's very significant because there's so many elements to this particular story. Because first of all, when you deal with music and film, there's a whole life of its own there. So the fact that we're just going to be talking with cast and crew is a way to kind of manage it. But can you promise me that you'll join me again in the future to talk a little bit
Oh,
more?
oh yeah,
About,
absolutely. As you know, my family is large. You've dealt with some of them, but it's so very large. I really appreciate making this focus the cast and the crew. And then yes, we'll definitely come back with the composers, arrangers of the original music there is, as well as stories that are unique that only my older brothers remember and can tell and talk about my father. So absolutely we'll be coming back for that. But for now, again, these lovely folks that you have, please give them all an opportunity for the world to see who they are and what they can do. I was just so blessed that my buddy Alonzo knew them and they had the opportunity to come in and make this film what it is. So again, A Stranger Story Nation, you have to come out to the Denton Film Festival and check this out personally and meet these folks personally.
that's great. Alonza, your name was mentioned, friend, and I love this, the whole concepts of the Batiste. It's like when you interact with them, it's not only just the family, but there is this whole cadre of friends that come along. And so as a friend, and being up close and personal and using your talent as a screenwriter, what has been your experience working on this particular project?
Oh gosh, so many different things to describe. First, I wanted to make a film that was about humanity. A lot of people ask me, well, what do you want the film to say, or what theme? I didn't have a particular theme. I just wanted the story to be as authentic as possible. Just tell the story like Mr. Batiste told me.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, that's what I wanted to do, and I believe we were able to do that. He told me the story about 15 years ago over the phone, and I said, "Wow, that's pretty amazing." And I promised him that I would try to put this to film. And it took about 15 years, bunch of rewriting and recasting. And finally, we got a chance to film in April of this year. And of course, we've been kind of on a roll ever since. As far as the film festivals are concerned, I think we're up to about 15 awards now, leading up to the Denton Black Film Festival, which is next month. And, hopefully we'll continue from there. Would love to make this into a feature film. Actually, I've started writing right now a feature based on this short. So hopefully we can get that going. And next time you talk to us later on in the year, maybe we'll be talking about the feature.
Okay, in terms of the film being a short, explain to the audience, most people, not everybody in the film, outside of the film world understands what that is. About how many minutes are we talking about when you mention a short?
We're talking about 15 minutes.
Okay, all right. So, and one of the things that people will want to know, I've got on the screen right now, the website, which is a stranger story.film. And it has some of the photos that are going by, and it talks about the synopsis of it, about the story of Mr. J.J. Batiste Sr. and his travels from going to Vancouver, Washington, and everything, and the encounter that he has. And with that, that particular storyline, you want to expand it. What will be different from the feature, from the short to the feature? What more do you think you'll be putting into it?
What I would love to do, what I plan on doing, is starting the film from Mr. Batista's early life in New Orleans and what led him to move to New York. And after he arrives in Vancouver, what happens after that to get him back to New Orleans. So that's the plan going forward.
Mhm. And as a writer, you know, in the short itself and the feature, what do you think is going to be the hook for people? What is it that's going to grab people's attention in this particular story?
Well, we're going to expand on the life of some of the characters. Say Lola, I think we can expand on her character quite a bit. And also, of course, John, the star of the story, really. We're going to tell some things about him that we weren't able to tell in the short. Of course, with every character, there are going to be some expansion of their roles. So I'm looking forward to writing that and expanding it to that feature length, so it can be more expansive as far as the film is concerned.
Yeah. Well, you know, speaking of the characters and expanding them, I think one of the things that we should probably do before we speak to Lola and John and some of the other characters is to take a look at this compilation, a little bit of the compilation that you have for the film itself, so people can kind of get a taste of what's going to be happening. So let me get that going, where we're going to share the screen and show this to you so people can see how intriguing all of this is dealing with this particular story. So hold on, people. Let's go with it.
I was leaving New York headed to Vancouver, Washington to start a new job in the shipyards. As I approached that old roaring train, that would take me on a trip that I'd never forget. Little did I know what was in store for me on my ride to the Northwest. My story starts aboard that train. I never could have imagined how meeting a passenger aboard that train would have a profound impact on the rest of my life. This is how my story began.
Now you be sure to telegraph me when you get there.
What's that for?
For you not to forget.
I have it right here.
A Stranger Story, based on the memoirs of John J.J. Baptiste Sr. A Stranger Story explains it.
Go down to the riverbank. Then you will see a man at the end of the path. Toss it over his shoulder, and it will come back to me.
A Stranger Story claims it.
Lola Bolu, one of them French Creole gals. It was like she was sent to me straight from the heavens above. I remember the first night I saw her.
A Stranger Story entertains it.
You had plenty money, 1922. You let other women make a fool of you. Why don't you do right like them other men do?
What are you waiting for? Order it.
Get out of here, get me some
A Stranger's Story describes how everyone has the free will to choose. To choose between what we know to be is wrong and what is right, even though that advice may come from a stranger. A Stranger's Story provides a view into one consequence of our free will. A Stranger's Story is based on the video memoirs of John J.J. Baptiste Sr.
Man, what are you talking about? You can't fight the devil without God on your side. You gotta get out the way and let God fix it.
Who do you share your deepest and darkest emotions and concerns with? Who do you trust for advice when all seems lost? When you have to choose between what your gut is telling you and the advice of a stranger, which one do you choose? A Stranger's Story, based on the memoirs of John J.J. Baptiste Sr.
I mean, that is outstanding. Congratulations. That was beautiful. Now, you can't do a Baptiste brother band show without having Dad, right?
Yeah,
You started all this madness.
That's correct. Well, there was a teacher over at Bunchville School by the name of Mr. Anderson, and he wanted David, to take part in it. And so David finally got me to get him a little piano.
And there you have it, the compilation there. It was just really fantastic story here. So much, so many dimensions and everything that came up and everything. As a matter of fact, I think one of the very interesting things for me was looking at Miss Red. Miss Red, you're in the house, I believe. Dr.
Yes.
Demetria
Dr. Grace.
Williams, are you not Miss Red?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I enjoyed playing Miss Red. It was a great experience. The whole movie was a great experience for me. I kind of consider it like a family and friends reunion. Everyone on the film was connected in some kind of way. It was magical.
Wonderful.
I've known Alonzo for about 30 years, and that's been a great experience all by itself, and was able to meet James, who was like meeting another family member instantly. And we had other connections we didn't even know about. My son went to school with John at Juilliard, and Chris is my wonderful godchild, who I was able to recommend for the lead, and with his talented self. And he said he was looking for a handsome young man that was in his 30s. I said, I got the right one for you.
That's great. That's great.
Yes, and then come to find out, me and Emerald are from the same island, St. Croix. So St. Croix was in the house, and Charles and I have a great mutual friend, Sharan, who also worked on the project. So it was like a great family reunion coming together. Special project, very special project.
That's wonderful. Well, let me, I guess I have a question for you in terms of Miss Red. What was your motivation for playing that very mysterious woman?
Well, being able to be around some of those types of people.
Okay.
I've experienced being around some of those people, not on a close level, but seeing them.
Yeah, so
in
you
New
did
Orleans.
some field research, huh?
Oh,
You did-
yes. In New Orleans, when I went to LSU, some of the island friends,
Exactly.
and just some people in general. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Great.
Mhm.
Yes, thank you. And Emerald, definitely would like to hear from you because you were the beauty that, if I understood the storyline, you're the beauty that basically um, inspired a man to sell his soul for you. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, ma'am. He sold his soul, his body, his mind. He sold it all, girl. He
Yeah,
sold
that's
it all.
exactly what he said,
Okay.
didn't he? His soul, his body, and his mind. What was it like playing that role?
Honestly, I feel like this role was made for me. I gotta say, it was a huge confidence booster because, I'm pretty simple. I'm a mom and I volunteer teach in the community quite a bit. But, as a vocalist, jazz and blues, they're my specialty. I have been obsessed with jazz and blues and the timeline between the 20s through the 50s for as long as I can remember. I love the fashion, the glamour, the style, the culture, that Renaissance feeling of powerful Black people. You know what I'm saying? And I'm singing in the Cotton Club, the world-renowned Cotton Club, where all these legends were. Like, participating in that timeline was like a dream come true. I loved becoming Lola Baloo.
Great, that's great. With that, it seemed like you were already primed and prepped for this particular role because of your interests or anything like that, your present interests. Was there anything challenging about the role for you that made it difficult, or you had to stretch a little?
In this role, I think it was the piece that I felt that was kind of a stretch was, and I've done love scenes before, but knowing that I'm in bed with the devil, that was
Wow.
that was a little heavy on me. I was like, oh Lord, I'm here.
Wow.
But
I must say so.
it was a little heavy, but no, it was great. I truly enjoyed the performing aspects, the recording. There were a lot of pieces that went into putting that sound together. So life has its way, and the show must go on, and this is how we do it.
Mhm. Yeah, and speaking of going on, in light of that role, where do you see you're taking that next step for yourself?
Well, you mean in regards to acting or singing or in the role?
Yeah, definitely. In light of that role, do you see yourself like heading off to LA to cut some music there, or do you see yourself going to perform live in clubs, or what do you want to do with it? What would you do with it?
I'm so glad that you asked that question, and thanks for giving that clarification. So, in regards to the role, I heard what Alonzo said in expanding this project, and God bless it, I get to say Lola Baloo, you know what I mean, and I get to still be her. Because as projects expand, sometimes the characters do change, and it's for the better good of the project. But I love being her, and God bless it, I still get to be her, and I get to learn a little bit more about how she came into singing in these juke joints. In regards to my vocalization and my singing, so I have quite a few records out right now. Over this next year, I will be releasing several music projects. I just came back from a gig in New Jersey where I sang for the legendary Bob Sumner at his gig called Jazz and Jokes. And so, shout out to Charles. And shortly following that, because Charles was there, he got to see me do the smooth operated thing and move the audience. This is my thing. This is what I love to do. And to be a part of Jazz and Jokes was such a thrilling moment. The next couple of days after that, I sang for Mr. John Blossomgame, who was the mentor to Bob Sumner. And during that process, that was 2 days of 2 more performances. And so, I want to keep doing that. That's my plan and my vision in regards to music. I also am a part of a partner with a couple production crews, and I have a partner for a publishing company called Renaissance Inc., Ginger Snaps Productions, and so on and so forth. But we're going to keep making more projects. Currently just got done with Intentions, which will be released next year. Currently just released Just Between Us Girls this month. Lady Luck 2, those are 2 films that I'm in or my music is in. This past year, got my first BET music placement on the film called Bid for Love, directed by Arthur Muhammad. So I'm really excited to be a part of this phenomenal network with Arthur, Charles Sharan, Mr. Batiste. Like this network, I just cannot tell you how grateful I am to participate in this world of film, music at the same time, because a lot of people say you got to pick one or the other. Well, I choose film because at least I get to sing, and The Stranger Story gave me an opportunity to continue doing that. So I'm really excited about developing that film. Last but definitely not least, outside of Intentions, we're going to be filming Metronome this year, which is a film that is taking place in Philadelphia at a place called Zanzibar Blue. Y'all may have heard of it, but it is another legendary location, and I'm so grateful to play Miss Michelle Beckham. She was a mainstay there. So, but until then, on Monday nights, you can catch me at the Balcony Club out here at the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And I'm really looking forward to seeing all of, meeting this new audience at the Denton Black Film Festival. I'm so proud of this film. I'm grateful to have been cast in it and to participate alongside such amazing talent. So I know that's a whole lot, but just tap in with me on my social media so you can keep up. And I'm always sharing something on my stories and my posts.
Well, definitely. That is a lot of information that we want to try to pull together for the audience. As a matter of fact, I had mentioned that I want to post this interview, and I would love to get that information. Make sure you email me all of your social media handles and everything else, the projects that you have, or your website. I think would really that would be great. And everyone, if you would do that, so that people can be able to follow up. They'll of course have the information. I already shared the information about the website for the film, but people are doing more than just one thing. And what I love about you were talking about, Emerald, was just the overflow of abundance of ideas, and as you were speaking, other ideas were being produced too, that were coming up. So I know the people that are producers, like Charles, he's like taking notes and seeing what else he could be working on. And Charles, let's hear a little bit from you in terms of your role as producers. Thank you, Emerald.
Yes. So Charles W. Bush. Alonzo came to me with this project saying, hey, we need someone on to help kind of get some things organized, get some things together. We need a technical team to shoot in the whole 9 yards. And I'm like, hey, I'm your guy. And, so it was pretty quick when he came to me. Everything was going like very fast. So my job was to make sure that we just had a stable team in place and have backup after backup after backup, because it wasn't a lot of pre-production when I came in. So Alonzo and James, they, started this a while back in the talks of making things happen. And so they were like, hey, we need someone to come in to help, the technical side of it. And so me coming in with the crew, the cameras, the first ADs, the associate producers, just things of that nature, coming in and building a team to make it happen. So that was the love for me. And when the story was explained to me, because I don't just say yes to anything, I just can't. But the story was so good. The story was good. And then I love period pieces. Because whenever time you got a period piece, it could help shine on camera, the costumes, the luggages, and the whole 9 yards. I'm just like, yeah, I want to be involved in this because I can see bigger for it. And so that was my deal with it. I just like, hey, I want come on and put the proper people together. And we had, like I said, plan A, B, C, D, E, like the whole 9 yards. So I was like over prepared because I knew we were on a train. I said, man, okay, what about the boom is going to get this, might come up this way. And I had to make sure whoever is part of the post-production process, you know, can handle all of that.
Exactly.
Because me, you know, I'm a producer to where people usually come to me at the very beginning of the project and say, hey, I need you to put this and that together. So I'm a producer. So I came for something specific for The Stranger Story. I came for the production part. So I wanted to make sure that James and the rest of the post-production team, when they have this product, it's everything that they can create and take from there. So I just love the whole process. And like Sinitra said, everybody coming together and say, oh, like James, I don't know if it was his nephews or what, but they're my frat brothers. I don't know if it was nephews or whoever, but what was they? Nephews?
I'm trying to think at which school, because my family was
so many of them.
Arkansas. I went to Arkansas State, but they went to, I think, I don't know where they went to, but they were my frat brothers. I met two of them.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it was one of my nephews, grandnephews. So, and I'm not sure what particular one. I just know whatever motivated Charles was such a blessing. His crew, his organization. So I'm gonna shut up now because I want Charles to talk. But thank you, Charles.
Yes. So as Sinitra was saying, it was a connection with everything, and it felt good. It felt really good. And after it was done and over with, I was just like, I can't wait to see it soar. And me personally, I saw A Stranger Story, first of all, as a feature. You know, I'm not, you know, I was just like, this has to be a feature. But of course, the task at hand is the short. So let's do the steps.
First things first and everything.
Exactly.
Yes,
exactly. And I am a huge film festival junkie.
Wow.
Like a junkie. Like I have submitted, and this is no lie, over 317 submissions to film festivals around the world. So when I was approached with this story, I said, oh yeah, it's going to do this. It's going to do, you know, but I saw it as a feature. So just as well as Emerald said, you know, God bless him being a part of this and that, I feel the same way. Like, okay, you know, hope my number is down, you know, as far as that, because I see big things. I see big things. And as a film producer, it's so many different routes and departments that you can play, come in. You can just say, hey, I just need some locations and I can do that. Or you can say, hey, I need a full team, you know, from the makeup artist, from the set designer to everything. And I can put that together for you. So with this, it was very specific and it was unique. I haven't been on a train before. It was different shooting in Austin and that whole dynamic. So I was like, man, it's already going. So I had to have so many backups. You know what I'm saying? Like, just in case something went wrong, I was like, okay, we got this. We got that. We got that. So when it was over, I was like,
yes.
Wow. And speaking
you know, so
of it, and Chris, definitely I'm going to be talking to you next because, you know, with your role in carrying this film, you know, very significant. But I do want to get back to a little bit to the technical, and I think it might have been, and you could probably speak to this too, Charles, in terms of the filming. It was, you were expecting to film for a week, but you wound up filming it all in 3 days. Is that did I hear that correctly, or? How did
that's
it go?
correct. I didn't know the time frame that I just know what we filmed in. I didn't know what was set.
Yeah. I mean, I had plotted out for a week, but we did it in 3 days.
We did it in 3 days. I love it when it happens. Things flow like that. Now, where did you do it? I heard Austin. Are there any other locations or anything like that? I think Charles, I thought I heard Charles say Austin that you shot. Where did you shoot it?
Yes.
Find out.
Austin and Fort Worth. We did the juke joint filming in Fort Worth and the train filming in Austin.
Great. Well, I just really love that because, it's outside of everybody always thinks of, Los Angeles. They think of definitely nowadays with the work that is going on in Georgia. You see the Georgia peach on just about every film and everything these days. I grew up in Georgia, went to the University of Georgia, and I left there because it was such a drought in cultural activities and things like that. But things are changing, and things are changing with the internet and people interacting, that the Dallas-Fort Worth area has a great amount of talent, and it's just great to hear about everybody being based in the area and everything. So let me get my question to Chris right away. Chris Ford, you played the role of John Batiste. What was your motivation for that? How did you feel walking into this? Was this one of your first major roles, or what was it like for you?
So I would say this was a reintroducing of my acting side of things. I'm an entrepreneur, so me and my wife have several businesses, and so I stepped away from the acting and entertainment really since college. I went to the University of Tulsa, studied in film, and that was my actual major. I did a lot of little skits and a lot of little small productions in the early 2000s, and then went full-fledged into some of my entrepreneurial ventures. And so when Sinitria, aka my Aunt Cindy, when she gave me the call, I was like, and I've been out of this for a while now. I don't do this, and she's like, no, you're gonna do this. You have experience. You've lived a lot of life. There is things that I feel you could bring to the table for this position. And I just appreciate all of y'all, from James and Alonzo, Charles, all of you all, really, giving me the opportunity to say, let's not have a backup for him. Let's go ahead and let him roll with it, right? So honestly, after I spoke with Aunt Cindy, and then she introduced me to Alonzo, and we had a few phone calls between those two individuals, they really made me confident and secure that I can step back into this light, this entertainment side, the acting side. And so I had to pull out some of my old studies. I was like, all right, I gotta look at I need to do origins. I need to do some of my little old training I was doing at school, acting like
method
animals,
acting,
trying to really hone in on the piece. And I don't know how many calls I made to them, like, do y'all have a picture of John? Do we have something? I need the stories, I need everything. And they were just really precise on helping me, get through it. But then to actually walk on set and see how everyone on set was very professional, everyone were working together, it really did feel like a family. I had the opportunity to even bring my wife, and she was an extra in the actual film. So we were literally like doing it all together. So it was like all the components that I needed to be there, to have the confidence to, hear so many stories from James about his father. I was just like, man, so trying to embody that, in this short period of time, it was an experience, but it was one that really took me personally to another level, as far as just understanding not only people, understanding stories, but understanding really who I am. Like, this is in me. So to go through this film, to see all this amazing cast, like, working with Gerald, me and him had a lot of late nights within I think 3 weeks of getting prepared for this, where we were just on the phone and we just going over script after script, over and over, to just trying to get our, groove down. It was an experience that I would never forget. I again appreciate every bit of this opportunity, and I'm hopeful that I will get a call, that somebody will remember my number, that is like, hey, put a little bit more practice in, but we may let you, do it again.
Okay, all right. I was wondering, I was saying, have you let go of that role for the feature part? But I hear you. Yeah.
It was a wonderful time, and like I said, the cast, the The production team, everybody was phenomenal. And actually being able to finally see it, you know, I was just like, wow, you know, this is something amazing, something that I do see going very, very far. And I love the fact that here finally directly out of Alonzo's mouth, a potential features. So I'm excited to see this.
That's great. And speaking of, you know, seeing it, it be a feature, people will have an opportunity to actually see it before then. I've just brought up on the screen that the Denton Black Film Festival is going to be in person January 25th through 29th of 2023. And they're also going to have an extended virtual festival that is going to be January 29th through February 5th. Now, are you guys going to be there at the red carpet? Or are you going to just send your film onto the Denton Film Festival? If somebody can answer that for me.
Well, I'm planning on being there. I guess I can let the rest of the cast and crew speak for themselves.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so Emerald, I hear you. You saying you're going to you're looking forward to it.
Yeah, this is James.
Cindy?
I'm encouraging all of the cast and crews with their, because Chris, what did your wife, did you have a son or a daughter or twins or triplets or what?
So we actually have 6 kids total, 5 girls, and we just had our baby boy here in September. And so at that time, my wife she was actually pregnant. And then, so they had to put a big jacket on her to kind of slim her down for the shot. So again, even her doing that, I was like, okay, yeah, we're all in. We're all in.
What is your son's name, Chris?
So his name is Ocean Christopher Ford.
Oh, that's the ocean behind you. Okay, I was. Okay.
Yep. So I'm actually in his room. I moved him to the bedroom. I need to borrow his room because this is kind of the most quietest place in the house.
Right.
So Jack, I'm just encouraging all of the crew, cast, extras, craft services, you name it, costumes, all of the folks that were involved, the folks out there right outside of Austin. What's that area called, Alonzo? That's actually Cedar Creek or
Cedar Park.
Cedar Park. All of those folks, anyone within hearing range of this particular meeting here to come on out, but definitely the cast, if they are available, if they're live and well and can make it, to come out so that folks can see you guys up close and personal. And it is my intention as well, myself and one or more of my family members, to make it as well, Jackie.
Okay, great. Now, Denton is about an hour north of Dallas, 45 minutes to an hour north of Dallas, from my understanding, if I read the map correctly. So
that's correct.
Yeah, so that's really going to be great. It would just be so beautiful, Chris, to see your entire family on that red carpet. That would be a beautiful photo op.
They're still pretty young. They get to going in their own ways. So I wouldn't want my family to be the destruction of the Black Film Festival. So, but we'll work it out.
Yeah, that would be absolutely just beautiful. And as I'm listening to you all talk, and you're talking about family, and you're talking about friends, there's that Black resilience, that Black joy that you don't see a lot, or you don't hear a lot in mainstream media. So I just want to commend you all for the work that you're doing, and getting this film and all of these film festivals for people to see, people working together in a very positive way. So I really so appreciate what you're doing, because those positive stories are not always told and everything. So I just appreciate that. Now, before you we end here, I definitely want to hear a little bit about your entrepreneurial work that you're doing. That's great what you're doing on screen, but tell us a little bit about your work.
Absolutely. Well, just a little bit about my background. Like I said, I started a media company straight out of college. That was actually, it turned into my internship that gave me my senior year credits. And I ended up pursuing that, took that little bit of business and implemented it into some of my other businesses that I have online. Like we do entrepreneurship for youth and adults. We have an online course called The Workpreneur. It stands for helping people win, earn, recommend, and create more opportunities to advance your lifestyle. We also have a logistics company. So in the DFW area, me and my wife started a logistics company in 2019. And so we have about 13 employees. And so we deliver small parcel in the area. And then we're also insurance adjusters. So with that, we keep it busy. We are ones that say, hey, whatever we need to do to keep that entrepreneurial path going so we can raise these kids, hey, that's what we do. And on the other side of it, my wife is also a real estate agent. So to give her some shout out, she actually just closed a few houses just yesterday. So we're busy with that, and so with that being said, we're definitely an entrepreneurial family. We have a board game called The Workpreneur. It's actually going to be released in January. We had a few pilots that happened in 2022 this year. And so we're finally ready. We have the company that'll be doing all the distribution for us. And so we'll be launching that. And that game is basically teaching both really families. I want to say just youth, but it's families, the cash flow quadrant, and understanding how to start as an employee and grow to an investor. And it's within the model of similarities of monopoly, but instead of buying property, you're buying businesses and managing your businesses. So we're really excited about that. And that's what we have right now.
All right. I want to get on that board myself to see what I can learn, to get a few things going on between you and Emerald and just everyone, Sinitria, and all the great work that's there's just such a great amount of talent here. So I just commend you all. Now, our time is coming to a new beginning that will end this conversation. So, but I want to see if there's anything else anybody else wants to add. Is there anything that has come up that, something I should have asked, didn't ask you, but you want to talk about it? Now is your time. Anybody? Okay.
I just want to say, give a round of applause to Gerald, who's not on right now. Gerald, our wonderful actor, who really put his foot in his role, and we go way back as well. Alonzo introduced him to me way back in '96 when I went to LA to start my ventures in production and everything. And I also wanted to give James and Alonzo my love and gratitude for allowing my nonprofit organization, 619 Productions, to be a part. We were able to use a lot of our clients as extras. So that gave them a heads up on how the business runs, and they got to learn a whole lot. So thank you guys. And I'm so excited. Ms. Jackie Wright, you're awesome. Thank you for highlighting these beautiful people, and you keep up the good work, my sister.
Yes,
thank you. Thank you for that.
I also wanted to shout out to Brandy Riggs, who played Essie Latif. She wasn't able to come on as well.
Okay. All right. Brandy and Gerald, and I see the devil didn't make it either. Bill, I was expecting him just to pop in anytime, you know how that could be. But definitely, I'm going to include in the write-up the website so that people can do some of their own reading. Hopefully some of my other journalist friends will want to interview you guys as well, because this is a very interesting story, and especially with it coming with you guys, especially having this next film festival that's coming up and everything.
Oh, just one other thing too. All the costumes, were from that time period. So that's something I wanted to add.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that was quite a closet trip. I got to tell you, going back into time like that, it was great. It was great. I do want to give one quick shout out. This is Emerald. Before we go, I want to give a huge shout out to Brother Lenny Nance. because going in there, rehearsing, like I was well rehearsed when we went into the studio to deliver the vocals. You know what I mean? We didn't waste no time. And Charles will tell you, and then when we got out there on that stage, but he was one of the band that played, that was in the background with me. I really appreciate them. I play with them folks all the time. It's Lenny Nance and the Network. So I just wanted to give them a shout out for being a part of this project.
Yes, Lenny Nance and the Networks. Like I said, I want to get the information, anything that you're referencing and things like that, make sure that you give that to me. But, as I was listening to the trailer, one of the things that really that touched me was the music. Even before you began singing, Emerald, and when you started singing in that band and everything, it was just great. It's like, oh, wow, this is just so much talent. It is so amazing. So I just thank the Lord for this opportunity as well. Getting back to giving honor where honor is due, as James started us off, to be able to have this conversation with you all. This has really been so wonderful, and I really appreciate it. And anything else that anybody else wants to say or anything?
No, just as Dr. Grace said, keep doing the wonderful work you're doing, Jackie. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. You've met some of the wonderful people. Now you're part of the family. You know them as I know them. So please continue to do what you do and share the word, spread the word about who they are and what they do and what they're capable of. Thank you so much.
Fabulous. This is fabulous. Thank you all for being on Wright Enterprises Community Spotlight, which is based in Dallas and San Francisco. Blessings to you all, and blessings to all that listened, and look for a stranger story somewhere near you. Thank you.